Me and my friends are all saying that 2025 is the year. 2025 is a year for us. Things are going to change. Things are going to be different. And I know for me personally, I've got a lot of shit. I'm just really I've been letting people dictate my life since I've graduated high school. Letting people tell me how I should feel and how I should act, and I know I am a great person at heart, not to be cocky or anything. I am a very good person. I'm a very hard worker. I care about people. Everyone that knows me, like knows me. They're like, yeah, he can be an asshole sometimes, but he's like the first person that I would call when something goes down. I am there for you. I am loyal to a fault, and it has burned me many times in my life, to be, I don't, if I've decided that you're one of the people that's in my circle, then I will literally tear down half the world to fucking get to you. If you're somebody that I have decided is worth my time, but in that I keep my circle very small. I would rather, and I do have a like three very close people to me, and everyone else in the world can suck a dick for the most part. And I don't know. Like this year is the year, and I know that it's not good to wait until a year, to wait until the clock hits January 1st, and then you're like, all right, now I'm going to do this and this and this. Like I've said before, like if it's March 12th, then you should make a resolution starting March 12th. This is the first day of me doing whatever. I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to start working out. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to, whatever. And it's taken me many, many years to get myself to where I am. And for a long time, I felt like really shitty because I'm like, I'm not making any progress. You look month by month by month and I'm like in the same spot. But that's the problem is that I'm looking at the small picture. When I look at the big picture, where I was a year ago, I was in an apartment. Now I got a house. I got a dog that I fucking love. That is literally like my best friend. I've stopped smoking marijuana. So I can move on to a better job. And not that my job is like shit necessarily, but it's not it's keeping me at a spot where, I that's not where I want to be. I'm making 23 an hour, and it's been years of them kind of tormenting me like to a point like, and I get it. I'm not innocent. There's been times where, I wasn't necessarily the best person, but it's a whole thing, but I at the same time I didn't start it. I didn't start it, but I wasn't the bigger man, and I didn't fucking own my shit, and whatever. I started. Oh well, you think of me like this for no reason? Well, I'm gonna act like that then, and it's been almost 2 years now. I haven't been like that. I've been at this job for 7 years. I'm making 23 an hour. I'm 24 years old. That's decent money, but to have a house and car payment and, to pay insurance and, Wi-Fi and whatever the fuck, everything else, and I want to have a family. I've wanted to have a family since I was like literally since I knew what kids were. I remember going to Menards with my dad when I was like 7 and he was going around showing me stuff. And I remember literally thinking like I will be here with my son someday. Like that has always been a big part of my life. And I know you can't just wait until you're ready, like you will never be ready necessarily for kids. If it's not money, then it's, something going on in your life, it's whatever, once you have kids, then you kind of mold your life around it and you make it work, I understand that. But, when you're barely making it at what you're doing, I don't feel right bringing a kid into this world, or multiple kids. I don't want to have one. I would like to have like 4 kids, but it sounds like with my wife, we're probably going to have two, possibly. We'll see. But it's that is so important to me that I've stopped smoking marijuana because I want to get a new job. And most jobs that I would like to go for are going to drug tests. And even though marijuana in the United States is starting to become a thing where people don't give a fuck, well, I live in Des Moines, Iowa. I live in Iowa, and that marijuana is not legal, so they still test for it. And I know there's many ways to trick a drug test. There's many things I can do to, quickly detox or whatever, to trick it, or like fake pee or whatever. But the person I am is, one, I have a ton of anxiety and I don't want to, that to go there and like, what if they're going to watch me? whatever, that's too much. But then also the main thing is that is not the kind of person I am. I've never been that kind of person. I don't cheat, I don't take shortcuts. I see that this is what I need to do and I'm going to do it. Like for example, like there's this gastric bypass surgery or whatever where they surgically make your stomach smaller. Well, I'm like 180 pounds. I've never, basically 6 foot. I'm as close you can get to 6 foot without being 6 foot, but I call it 6 foot. And then, my wife calls me out on it, of course, but I'm basically 6 foot. But anyway, so I'm in a healthy, I'm not fat, but there is many people in my life I know that are big in that have taken this gastric bypass surgery. And if you have a thing where like you can't walk right, or you got a fucked up knee or something, it makes it very hard for you to work out. Okay, that's one thing. But if you're it's a shortcut. You know what I'm saying? Like that's in my head, I would never ever fucking do that. If I was 700 pounds, I wouldn't fucking do that. I would, if I worked my way up to be 700 pounds, and I would work my way out of that. That's the person I am. Your hard work will pay off, and the kind of person it makes you into when you just take shortcuts is just, you take one shortcut and you will continue taking shortcuts. It's the Joe Rogan, like if you take a day off, then what's to stop you from taking the next day off? And that, because now that's an option. It's an option in your head where before maybe it wasn't. You take a shortcut and now you're taking tons of shortcuts. I've never been like that. I've always been, I'm gonna fucking do the work. I'm going to slave over this shit and get it done. I'm gonna do it the right way. I'm a big believer. I was in cross country in high school for the last 2 years of my high school career. I was very nervous to join it, but it's one of the greatest things I've ever done. It made me realize so many things about myself, and it made me, I always look at like, I don't know if I can do this. And it's like, bro, you did crazy shit in cross country. I ran my very first race of cross country. I ran so hard, like pushed my body so hard that I literally passed out on the finish line. Like I passed out, my teammates caught me and they carried me over to the fucking paramedics where for the next day, I literally couldn't move. Like my head, I couldn't lift my own head up. My parents had to help me shower or take a bath and shit. I was fucking almost 18 years old. I worked my body so hard. That's the kind of person I am. I leave it all on the field. I leave it all out there. I go for what I want, and that's there's just too many people, and nowadays it's too easy to take shortcuts, and anything that I want, if I put my mind to it, I can do it. And I'm not unique in that fact of anybody can do that, but I'm in the fact, I'm unique to the point of I've done that and I will do that. I'll continue to do that. I will fucking kill myself trying to get where I want to get because that's the kind of person I am, I don't know. I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but back to my point of this is my year. This is your year. This is our fucking year, It's January 2nd. Let's fucking get some shit done. I was talking about, it's a slow process. Like when I look back from a month ago, I'm in the same spot for the most part. But then you look back a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and a slow process. I'm slowly getting to where I want. And it's okay to be slow, if you're still moving. As long as you're moving forward, doesn't matter how fast you're going. You are moving. You're doing more than the vast majority of people that are just stuck in one spot and they get down and depressed and like, fuck it, this is who I am, this is where I am, and fuck it, But I've had this in my head, like marijuana it has been like my identity for like 7-8 years of my life, like since high school. Since I graduated, I found carts, which the whole reason I wasn't smoking weed all the time, I was smoking it just kind of sometimes at friend's house, was because it could get, you can smell it, everybody knows. Well, then I found carts, cartridges, vapes, you can vape marijuana, and I found out that you can do that and nobody knows what the fuck you're doing unless you like literally blow it in their face. But like if you smoke in a room, 2 minutes later, nobody has any idea that you smoked because it's vapor, it just evaporates, it's gone. And so that became a part of who I was, I had a lot of mental shit going on. And so then that weed led into all these other drugs and all this other shit. And I really fucking went down a bad path. And it was like 3 years ago, to almost to the day. You know, it was New Year's like 3 or 4 years. I think it was 3 years ago, where it was the last time that I did hard drugs, and I was like, "This is it. This is I'm doing like an all out hoorah, doing the most I've ever done, and I'm done. You know, I'm done with this shit." And it really, I mean, that the shit that I was doing fucked my head up, you know, and I will forever pay the price for that. I was abusing the fuck out of fucking, I mean, I was addicted to Molly, doing it literally almost every day, if not every day. And then if I didn't have Molly, I was doing Zans or Perks or whatever the fuck I get my hands on, you know, anything. It didn't matter. I would do anything that you would give me for the most part. You know, I never did heroin. I never did cocaine because I never got my hands on it, but I would have, you know, there, and it was the friends I was surrounded with that you know, made me into that person. Like, not they didn't make me do that shit, but I already wanted to do it, and then I had the friends that provided the shit for me, you know. And after that New Year's, I literally it wasn't much longer that I cut them off. I literally and it was not nice, and I just blocked everybody, and I just stopped talking to them. Like people that I was hanging out with and talking to every day, I just randomly was done, you know. And that is how I have done a lot of things in my life is I'm very dramatic. I'm very spur of the moment. Every relationship that I've broken up with the girl, they had no idea it was coming and it just happened. I just literally one day woke up and I'm like, yeah, I've been thinking about it for a couple months and I just broke up with them, you know, and they were stunned, you know, fucking completely caught off guard. And that's, you know, that's not necessarily the best way to do it, but that's how my head works. I think about it and then I just fucking do it, you know, like you know, it's not an immediate thing for me usually, you know, but I'm very sporadic. I'm very emotional, you know, and I'm like, fuck it. That's it. I'm done, you know? And it sucks in the moment, but then you get past it, you know? You're as a human, you adapt. You get used to things. And so I don't really know where I'm going with all this. I'm kind of saying a bunch of random shit all at once. You know, I apologize. It's kind of hard to follow. Uh, but anyway, this is our year. You know, this is the year we're gonna do some shit. So I stopped smoking weed so I can pass a drug test, so I can get a new job and start making some more money. I'm gonna start posting videos as much as I can, fucking frequently. Videos is my passion. That's what I love to talk. You know, I at work I'm the talker. I'm the guy that also is always singing songs and rapping and having fun. You know, I'm very happy most of the time. You know, I'm even through the shit, and a lot of times it's very fake. You know, and I have learned that it is better to be fake happy than real mad, you know? There's times where I get completely caught off guard and I just, you know, snip and I'm just fucking red hot. You know, my blood, I can feel my blood boiling. I've always had anger issues, but I really try to avoid that. You know, I try to do everything in my power to not be that person because nobody likes that person. And there's times where you need to be that person, you know. There's times where you need to be mean. You need to stick up for yourself. You need to be a fucking asshole sometimes, you know. But most of the time, that's not going to get you very far, you know. People don't like that, and that doesn't, you know, in your job and your relationships, that's not a good thing, you know. Love goes way further than hate and anger and you know trying to overpower people and I've learned that lesson in life, you know. And it's so 2025 is the year we're going to get it done and we're going to do it the right way. We're going to start making more money. We're going to start being able to feel like we can have a family. You know, I'm talking about myself here. I stopped smoking weed. You know, there's still times I've been done smoking weed for like 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, you know, whatever. And I have taken a little hit here or there, like when people are around or whatever. But and it's not the friends that I got rid of, you know, it's very genuinely like the best people I've ever been around, you know, the best friends that I could ask for. Like they are ride or die. They would fucking be there for me. Very good people. They have been there for me when shit goes down, you know, or I need help. You know, I need help removing a stump from my cousin's yard and they fucking come and work 8 hours for free just to help me, you know, like very good people. And you know, I'm very blessed. I have kind of, you know, again, it's a very slow process to shape my life into what I want. You know, but this is something that I've talked to many people about, you know. So if I said you come work for me for 10 years and I'm not going to pay you a dime, I'm not going to pay you anything. The whole 10 years you work for me and then the 10th year on the day, I will give you $10 million. On the day, $10 million. But up until then you get nothing. Would you do it? You know, would you do it? Most people are like, yeah, I'd probably do it, but would you really? Would you really do it? That is my viewpoint on how I work. I'm a tortoise. I work very slow, but I get to where I want to go. I will get there. And it is once again, it is way fucking better than everyone else that's doing nothing. Everyone else that's fucking just sitting there doing nothing. And, but they look at me and I'm slowly getting to where I want. It's not a fast process, and that's okay. Some people can do it instantly, all damn near instantly. I can't do that. And I've accepted that, and that's okay. But anyway, long story short, let's get this shit going, boys and girls and women and men. Let's do this shit. It's time to fucking settle down, hunker down, get this shit done. No excuses, no fucking bullshit. We got it. Even if you're, and this is the thing is, you don't look at the future. Everyone's like, I've been talking to people and everyone's like, well, where are you going to go work? What are you going to do? And I'm like, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just one step at a time. I'm looking at the step right in front of me. First step, stop smoking weed, be able to pass a drug test. Next step is find a job. But I'm not even thinking about the job until I can pass a drug test. I'm not overwhelming myself. I'm doing one step at a time. It's the Will Smith. You don't go out and say, I'm going to build the biggest, best wall of all time. You go out and you say, I'm going to lay this single brick as perfectly as I can lay this brick. And then tomorrow I'll come back and lay another brick. And the next day another brick. And, soon I will have a fucking wall. It'll be built, but you got to give me time. You got to have faith. You got to be persistent. You got to understand it's not going to be instant, and that's okay. And there's going to be a lot of people that fucking say things like you changed, or you're not going to make it, or, you're fucking not going to have what you want, whatever. You just fucking say, yeah, okay, whatever you say, that's fine. I'm not even going to waste my breath on trying to argue with you. I'm so tired of fucking arguing with motherfuckers. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. There's no point in me trying to change your mind on anything. It doesn't matter. You fucking are going to think what you want to think. I'm going to think what I want to think. Why is everyone wasting their fucking time on this shit? No point. Let's fucking spend that time and do something with it. Let's stop arguing. Let's stop making excuses. Let's stop the bullshit and let's get this motherfucker done.